Greetings to all the ISBs out there. You can call me Brian. On some other social media platforms, I've been known to go by the handle of N7 Guardian Anon, but like you, from one life experience to the next, I've gone by a variety of different names. But we'll go deeper into the topic of ISBs, that's immortal spirit and biological entity, in a later video. I'm very interested in the topic of ancient cultures, mythology, patterns, symbolism, and I would like to rant a little bit about how much of it really is in music, movies, TV shows, video games, and basically all around us. This particular video serves as kind of like a reminder to myself. I shared a lot of the information on my Twitter feed, which seems like a very long time ago. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about expanding one's consciousness and new ways of thinking. One way of looking at it would be, are we learning or are we just remembering things long forgotten?
Tonight's talk is consciousness, creativity, and the brain. And if you have a golf ball size consciousness, when you read a book, you'll have a golf ball size understanding. When you look out, a golf ball size awareness. And when you wake up in the morning, a golf ball size wakefulness. But if you could expand that consciousness, then you read the book, more understanding. You look out, more awareness, and when you wake up, more wakefulness. It's consciousness. And there's an ocean of pure, vibrant consciousness inside each one of us. And it's right at the source and base of mind, right at the source of thought, and it's also at the source of all matter. Dive within, experiencing subtler levels of mind and intellect, and transcend and experience this ocean of pure consciousness. This pure consciousness is called by modern physics the unified field. It's at the base of all mind and all matter. And they now say, modern science says, all of matter, everything that is a thing, emerges from this field. And this field has qualities like bliss, intelligence, creativity, universal love, energy, peace. And it's not the intellectual understanding of this field, but the experiencing of it that does everything. You dive within and transcending, experiencing this field of pure consciousness, and you enliven it, you unfold it, it grows. And the final outcome of this growth of consciousness is called enlightenment. And enlightenment is the full potential of all of us human beings. I would like to have a glass of water, if that's possible. Okay.
Hey, Jay, bless you, man.
This is Jay, my friend and assistant. It's really good. It's not quite as good as pure consciousness, but it's really good.
I think it's also important to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. So the normal way that we conduct our lives is we reason by analogy. We're doing this because it's like something else that was done, or it's like what other people are doing.
Personally, I can see the value in using analogies as well as using first principles. They're really just tools in a toolbox, depending on the situation, I think. Analogies enable information or data to be transferred to someone who may not fully understand, but maybe is very interested in a topic or has a question about a topic or a subject. Whether they're young or old, it doesn't matter. What I found interesting is that using analogies also allows information to remain hidden in plain sight. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with that phrase before, feel free to comment below on why that phrase may seem familiar to you. Naturally, we're surrounded by analogies, like I said before. It's in our movies, music, books, video games. It's just all around us. Even in our daily lives from day to day that we might not even realize. Maybe it's just possible that we're only decoding a certain percentage of what really is in front of us, but when we open our eyes and we see everything around us, maybe you'll be truly amazed.
First principles is kind of a physics way of looking at the world, and what that really means is you kind of boil things down to the most fundamental truths and say, okay, what are we sure is true, or as sure as possible is true, and then reason up from there. That takes a lot more mental energy.
Give me an example of that. Like, what's one thing that you've done that on that you feel has worked for you?
In this scene from the film Short Circuit, the guy wants to turn Johnny Five in for the reward that is offered for him. I think that Johnny Five is breaking down his guy's Firebird as an analogy so he can understand what it is that's going to happen to himself if he's turned in. I just find that kind of interesting. What a wonderful car. The 1967 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Pontiac celebrated its 50th anniversary in 1976. The Firebird was a fantastic movie car. It was in McHugh. It was in Smokey and the Bandit. It's GM's fault there isn't a 2022 Firebird in your garage. We could spend an entire video discussing the symbolism of the Firebird throughout ancient cultures and its meaning, or even the Pontiac symbol's meaning. A lot of people even think it resembles the Space Force logo. Let me know what you think. I'm interested in seeing what everyone digs up on the subject using first principles. Let everyone know in the comments what you find. Who knows? Maybe you'll find that missing puzzle piece for all of us to have a better understanding. The next video that I'd like to mention is from the Smithsonian Science Education Center, and they created this very interesting video on metacognitive thinking. I thought they did an excellent job in explaining declarative knowledge, knowing the definitions of words and concepts, procedural knowledge, knowing how to do something or performing a skill or a task, and conceptual knowledge, which is understanding the definition, concepts, and facts, and then applying them to new situations, using that information in new ways. Make sure you check it out. I thought the Moon Project was also an excellent example. I can recall a time when I thought, oh man, this situation is just total chaos. But at the end of it, order had emerged as a result of understanding. Now, that kind of reminds me of the whole phrase, order out of chaos. And I'm sure that many of you have probably heard or have seen that phrase before. Now, there's this scene in the film Contact, and I think it provides another great example of thinking outside the box, or three-dimensional thinking, multi-dimensional thinking. But the thing is, I'm wondering if you give that kind of thinking a name, does one risk becoming limited to the new terminology that you're giving it and potentially trapping yourself in just a larger box? Maybe we all have to just come to the realization that we just know that we know nothing. Let me know what you think. Now, if you happen to follow along with Majestic 12 when they were posting on Twitter or maybe some other social media accounts, they had stated a couple of things that really resonated in my remembering. The first one being message over messenger, and the other one, answers lie within, or answers are found within. I've provided a link for you down below where you can download the archive of their Twitter posts and as many of the videos that they have posted that I was able to kind of scrape together. As I was archiving and going down that rabbit hole with many of you, I got reminded of something. Now, I've been a teacher most of my lives and a student as well, but as a teacher, I remember at times that I would just about say almost anything or give an example to the students that I was teaching, whatever it would take to get them where they needed to be. And it reminded me much like Obi-Wan did in Star Wars, or perhaps even the Oracle did in The Matrix. And you may be asking yourself, when did they do that? Well, let's take a look.
Smell good, don't they?
Yeah.
I'd ask you to sit down, but you're not going to anyway. And don't worry about the vase.
What vase?
That vase.
I'm sorry.
I said don't worry about it. I'll get one of my kids to fix it.
How did you know?
Oh, what's really going to bake your noodle later on is Would you still have broken it if I hadn't said anything? You know why Morpheus brought you to see me. So, what do you think? Do you think you're the one?
Honestly, I don't know.
You know what that means? It's Latin. Means know thyself. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Being the one is just like being in love. No one can tell you you're in love, you just know it. Through and through. Balls to bones. Well, I better have a look at you. Open your mouth, say ah.
Ah.
Okay. Now I'm supposed to say, that's interesting, but then you say.
But what?
But you already know what I'm going to tell you.
I'm not the one.
Sorry, kid. You got the gift. But it looks like you're waiting for something.
What?
Your next life, maybe. Who knows? That's the way these things go. What's funny?
Morpheus. He almost had me convinced.
I know. Poor Morpheus. Without him, we're lost.
What do you mean, without him?
Morpheus believes in you, Neo. And no one, not you, not even me, can convince him otherwise. He believes it so blindly that he's going to sacrifice his life to save yours.
What?
You're going to have to make a choice. In the one hand, you'll have Morpheus's life. And in the other hand, you'll have your own. One of you is going to die. Which one will be up to you? I'm sorry, kiddo, I really am. You have a good soul. And I hate giving good people bad news. No. Don't worry about it. As soon as you step outside that door, you'll start feeling better. You'll remember you don't believe in any of this fate crap. You're in control of your own life. Remember? Here. Take a cookie. I promise by the time you're done eating it, you'll feel right as rain.
What was said was for you, and for you alone.
Do you believe it now, Trinity?
Morpheus. The Oracle. She told me
She told you exactly what you needed to hear.
That's all.
Neo, sooner or later you're going to realize, just as I did, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path.
I think that just about wraps up this video. Until next time, thanks for watching my first attempt at video editing, and I hope you're ready to dive in deep waters because we're gonna get real wet in the next one.
Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And